Hello there and welcome to Star Wars 1000. Today we will be talking about all of Obi-Wan Kenobi's Padawans, which is mostly going to be coming from Legends material. But I will talk about the canon story of Obi-Wan Kenobi's Padawans and characters that he had trained in the canon as well. So to begin, let's talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi's first Padawan, Anakin Skywalker. In the canon, Obi-Wan Kenobi first met Anakin in the movie Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. In that movie, Kenobi met a 9-year-old Anakin Skywalker that was just freed from being a slave thanks to Qui-Gon Jinn. As the story unfolds, Qui-Gon eventually dies, and as part of his dying wish, he asks for Kenobi to train Anakin Skywalker. Obi-Wan does what his master asks, and he takes Anakin on as his Padawan. Their relationship was rocky, especially in between episodes 1 and 2. But the two grew to see each other as brothers after Anakin became a Jedi Knight shortly after Episode 2. Anakin also married Padme Amidala, who was the Queen of Naboo, and both Anakin and Padme were in a secret marriage that no one was allowed to know about, as their love was forbidden. Obi-Wan knows that the two are together but does nothing about it because Obi-Wan wanted Anakin to have the life he couldn't have with Satine. In Episode 3, their friendship falls apart as Anakin turns to the dark side and becomes Darth Vader. Along with that, his wife, Padme Amidala, dies while giving birth due to a broken heart, and she gives birth to Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa. As Vader, Anakin did some horrible things, and he was the one to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi as well, which happens in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Eventually, Anakin gets redeemed by his son Luke Skywalker, but then becomes a Force ghost just like his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan also helped train Luke and Ahsoka, but they were not considered his Padawans. Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan during the Clone Wars. On the Legends side of things, Obi-Wan had 3 Padawans altogether. There was Anakin Skywalker, who was similar to his counterpart except for the events that happened in between episodes 2 and 3 and episodes 1 and 2. Anakin did not have a Padawan in Legends. Also, Anakin became a Jedi Knight 2 years and 6 months after episode 2, whereas in the canon, Anakin becomes a Jedi Knight shortly after marrying Padme at the end of episode 2. There was also Vader, who had some different events happen in the events between episodes 3 and 4 as well, like taking on a secret apprentice named Starkiller, but for the most part, Vader was the same as his canon counterpart. So now that we're done talking about Obi-Wan's first Padawan and his most famous Padawan, let's talk about his second. Obi-Wan's second Padawan was named Halagad Ventor. Ventor was only assigned to Obi-Wan for a brief amount of time, because he needed a master after his current master died, so he was placed with Obi-Wan, but it was only meant to be for a temporary amount of time so they could find Ventor a new master. Obi-Wan had Ventor as his Padawan during the Clone Wars, which means Obi-Wan ended up having 2 Padawans at the same time, but it was very short-lived. Only after one mission Ventor was reassigned. Later in the Outer Rim sieges, Ventor commanded a team assisting to purge the Confederacy of Independent Systems from the planet of Baldaminik. Ventor also survived Order 66 and was able to help surviving Jedi. Unfortunately, Ventor got consumed by the dark side, but made his way back to the light side and ended up dying, but making his way to becoming a Force ghost. The last Padawan of Obi-Wan Kenobi's was named Ferrus Olin. Ferrus first met Obi-Wan during the era between episodes 1 and 2. Ferrus was the Padawan of a Jedi named Saratachi. Saratachi and Kenobi both had feelings for each other, but eventually put those feelings aside and became great friends and fought on many battles together. During those battles, that's when Ferrus met Kenobi. And also, he ended up being frenemies / big rivals with Anakin Skywalker. Their relationship could be compared to Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter books. If you're a fan of that, you would know what I'm talking about when I say Anakin and Ferrus were frenemies / really big rivals. Ferris became a Jedi Knight pretty quickly, and it really pissed off Anakin Skywalker, of course. Shortly before the onset of the Clone Wars, Olin resigned from the Jedi Order due to the guilt felt over the death of fellow Padawan Dara Thal Tanis on Korriban, a mission that went horribly wrong. Before he left, it seemed like Anakin and Olin left on good terms. After he left the Jedi Order, he started a business with his friend Roan Lance, but he never forgot his allegiance to the Jedi, especially after the Great Purge. Ferris Olin ended up surviving post-Order 66, as the clones did not consider him to be a Jedi. Olin eventually started a small rebellion group, which eventually fell apart due to the Empire finding out about it. Kenobi eventually saved him from the trouble of the Empire and offered to train him as a Jedi to help Olin regain his skills after leaving the Order for so long, and Obi-Wan offered the position to be his new Padawan. The idea to make Ferris Olin Obi-Wan's Padawan was actually Qui-Gon's idea. Ferris and Obi-Wan ended up going on a lot of adventures together. They went on adventures against villains like Boba Fett and the Legends versions of the Inquisitors, but eventually they ended up having to go their separate ways. Ferris went on to have a lot of other adventures. Like at one point, he was a double agent for the Empire and Rebellion. Also, he was investigating Princess Leia's whereabouts after she was captured. But eventually, he was killed by Darth Vader, which is very interesting due to their relationship from when they were basically kids. Anakin and Ferris had an interesting relationship with the frenemies slash rivalry thing going on between them in between episodes 1 and 2, but eventually Darth Vader was the one that ended up killing Ferris Olin. So that was the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi's Padawans. It looks like in the canon he won't have any Padawans unless they make Reva his Padawan. That's just a theory, not confirmed, by the way. Alright, so to wrap up the video, may the Force be with you always.